Question is the motion be agreed to. I call the member for Ryde.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Like the member for Leppington, I'm a new member in this place, and so I came to this place full of enthusiasm and excitement, in particular because I was listening to the government's rhetoric before the election, and it was all about integrity, and it was all about how we had a bright, bold vision and focus for the future of this state. And yet, here we come, and in my short time that I've been here, my observation has been that there is a vision, no doubt, but a vision for the rear-view mirror. There is a wafer-thin legislative agenda. At best, I can talk to the repeals of choices for housing. I've seen them try to take away regional travel cards for people that are studying at university and our apprentices. And what we're now seeing is a direct and targeted attack on children right across this state. But it goes further than that, Mr. Speaker. It's not just about the kids, as much as that's important. It's about the families, and it's also about the businesses that have been thriving, particularly post-COVID, because of the wonderful program that the former Liberal and National government implemented. Now, I'll take the interjection. There's no businesses. I'll tell members opposite about a local business in Ryde. I'll talk about the Galaxy Sports Coaching run by a great local resident in Meadowbank named Ryan Buckley. Ryan runs sports clinics for local kids. He has talked about his business experiencing something like a 50% uptake as a consequence of all the local families coming out of COVID looking for something to do. And what better thing to do than to get involved in a great sport like soccer? Let me tell you about soccer. In my electorate of Ryde, among women, it is the third highest participating sport, and among young men, it's the second biggest sport in my electorate. It is an extraordinary performance that we have from our local electorate, and it was being sustained in a significant way because of these wonderful programs. Now, let's put it into context. Families could rely on, we know, $200 vouchers a year. That meant that you could put a significant amount of funding towards the registration fees. That meant you could take pressure off the family budget. It meant kids that were in a lower socio-economic environment were able to participate and not be disadvantaged. In a sport like soccer, this is important.
Wollongong families loved it.
That's right. Wollongong families loved it. The members up in Cessnock, they loved it too. But I think that what we have seen is not just a cut, but a deep slashing of this program, where now families who used to be able to rely upon those $200 vouchers for active kids are now, at best, getting $100. But it's not just any family that can get these, only those who receive Family Tax Benefit A. So in an electorate like Ryde, I'd love to see the statistics for what that means for the amount of families that can actually take advantage of this program. I would hazard that it is a pretty abysmal performance. I reckon if I look across the aisle, it would be a pretty poor performance from those as well. The number of families, it is greater than just a cut to the value of the voucher. It's also a drastic slashing in the number of families that are even eligible to play. But I want to go back to my friend Ryan, because Ryan spoke about more than just what the vouchers meant to his business. He also spoke about what it meant for the quality of life for kids and families. And I'll read a quote if I can. He said, "Too many Australian children are at risk of poor quality of life or premature death due to unhealthy lifestyles." He shared a statistic from the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare, and it's really quite concerning. A massive 70% of children aged 2 to 17 fail to meet the recommended physical activity guideline. Almost 75% of children aged 2 to 17 exceeded in the recommended amount of sedentary activity. So that's sitting or screen-based time. What better way to get people away from those poor activities than to have them enrolled in something like swimming or soccer? He said the failure to address these concerns is linked to the multitude of damaging consequences both now and later in life. And he spoke about reduced academic attainment, increased risk of some forms of cancer, increased incidence of being overweight or obese, mental health challenges. We know how significant that is for local communities. All of these things can be tied back to active participation in sport and other things like creativity. And so what I think is, and I'll come to first slap because I'm conscious of time, because we're also cutting that, I see. 87% of Australians live within 50 kilometres of a coastline. That is the vast majority of our constituents in this place. This isn't just about having them involved and participating in sport. This is about teaching critical life skills. This is about life and death. This isn't just about the bottom line for households. This is not just about cost of living, as much as that is important. This is about the future and the lives of kids and families right across this state, and you cannot put a price on that. Thank you.
Thank the member for Ryde.